Here seen only by his eyes, the scarlet letter need not burn into the bosom of the fallen woman. Here seen only by her eyes, Arthur Dimmesdale, false to God and man, might be, for one moment, true. He started at a thought that suddenly occurred to him. "Hester," cried he, "here is a new horror. Roger Chillingworth knows your purpose to reveal his true character. Will he continue, then, to keep our secret? What will now be the course of his revenge?" "There is a strange secrecy in his nature," replied Hester thoughtfully, "and it has grown upon him by the hidden practices of his revenge. I deem it not likely that he will betray the secret. He will doubtless seek other means of satiating his dark passion." "And how am I to live longer breathing the same air with this deadly enemy?" exclaimed Arthur Dimmesdale, shrinking within himself and pressing his hand nervously against his heart, a gesture that had grown involuntary with him. "Think for me, Hester. Thou art strong. Resolve for me." "Thou must dwell no longer with this man," said Hester slowly and firmly. "Thy heart must be no longer under his evil eye." "It were far worse than death," replied the minister. "But how to avoid it? What choice remains to me? Shall I lie down again on these withered leaves where I cast myself when thou didst tell me what he was? Must I sink down there and die all at once?" "Alas, what a ruin has befallen thee," said Hester, with the tears gushing into her eyes. "Wilt thou die for a very weakness? There is no other cause." "The judgment of God is on me," answered the conscience-stricken priest. "It is too mighty for me to struggle with." "Heaven would show mercy," rejoined Hester. "Hast thou but the strength to take advantage of it?" "Be thou strong for me," answered he. "Advise me what to do." "Is the world then so narrow?" exclaimed Hester Prynne, fixing her deep eyes on the minister's, and instinctively exercising a magnetic power over a spirit so shattered and subdued that it could hardly hold itself erect. "Doth the universe lie within the compass of yonder town, which only a little time ago was but leaf-strown desert, as lonely as this around us? Whither leads yonder forest track? Backward to the settlement, thou sayest. Yes, but onward too. Deeper it goes and deeper into the wilderness, less plainly to be seen at every step, until some few miles hence the yellow leaves will show no vestige of the white man's tread. There thou art free. So brief a journey would bring thee from a world where thou hast been most wretched to one where thou mayest still be happy. Is there not shade enough in all this boundless forest to hide thy heart from the gaze of Roger Chillingworth?" "Yes, Hester, but only under the fallen leaves," replied the minister with a sad smile. "Then there is the broad pathway to the sea," continued Hester. "It brought thee hither. If thou so choose, it will bear thee back again in our native land, whether in some remote rural village or in vast London, or surely in Germany and France, in pleasant Italy. Thou wouldst be beyond his power and knowledge. And what hast thou to do with all these iron men and their opinions? They have kept thy better part in bondage too long already." "It cannot be," answered the minister, listening as if he were called upon to realize a dream. "I am powerless to go. Wretched and sinful as I am, I have had no other thought than to drag on my earthly existence in the sphere where Providence hath placed me. Lost as my own soul is, I would still do what I may for other human souls. I dare not quit my post, though an unfaithful sentinel whose sure reward is death and dishonor, when his dreary watch shall come to an end." So Hester is suggesting he leave Boston, go somewhere else, go back across the sea, go to Europe. And he is saying he can't leave his post as the minister here. Sounds kind of familiar to why we gathered, or some of the reasons why we gathered Hester wouldn't leave Boston so long ago when she was first adorned with the letter. "Thou art crushed under this 7 years' weight of misery," replied Hester, fervently resolved to buoy him up with her own energy. "But thou shalt leave it all behind thee. It shall not cumber thy steps as thou treadst along the forest path, neither shalt thou freight the ship with it, if thou prefer to cross the sea. Leave this wreck and ruin here where it hath happened. Meddle no more with it. Begin all anew. Hast thou exhausted possibility in the failure of this one trial? Not so. The future is yet full of trial and success. There is happiness to be enjoyed. There is good to be done. Exchange this false life of thine for a true one. Be, if thy spirit summon thee on such a mission, the teacher and apostle of the red men. Or, as it more thy nature, be a scholar and a sage among the wisest and the most renowned of the cultivated world. Preach, write, act, do anything, save to lie down and die. Give up this name of Arthur Dimmesdale, and make thyself another, and a high one, such as thou canst wear without fear or shame. Why shouldst thou tarry so much as one other day in the torments that have gnawed into thy life, that have made thee feeble to will and to do, that will leave thee powerless even to repent? Up and away! "Oh, Hester," cried Arthur Dimmesdale, in whose eyes a fitful light, kindled by her enthusiasm, flashed up and died away. "Thou tell'st of running a race to a man whose knees are tottering beneath him. I must die here. There is not the strength or courage left me to venture into the wide, strange, difficult world alone." It was the last expression of the despondency of a broken spirit. He lacked energy to grasp the better fortune that seemed within his reach. He repeated the word, "Alone, Hester." "Thou shalt not go alone," answered she, in a deep whisper. Then all was spoken. So what do you think's going to happen? It's the end of that chapter.